All right, John Wesley here. Welcome to the Journeyman Guitarist. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and ring the bell. It helps get me, helps keep this thing going. All right, so what I'm going to do today is talk about pedal boards and pedal selection. I'm not going to get as deep into individual pedal selection, but I'm going to get into it like a category. I do a lot of different kind of gigs. I travel all over the world. Been gigging live since 1978. When my first pedal board was a Rat pedal, straight into a 50-watt Marshall and a 4x12 with a Les Paul, and let's just say it screamed. I think it's all been downhill since then, personally. So Rat, Marshall, maybe I had it figured out in 78. Anyway, here we are today. It's 2025, and I'm doing a variety of kind of gigs. And I want to talk a little bit about the different pedal boards configurations that I use. As you can see in the back here, I've got a table of pedal boards. I didn't put up the overhead camera today because it would just be too confusing, because what I'm going to do is just pick each one up and talk about them. So let's go right in. The current gig I'm doing, I talked about this in the last video, is for a band called Vertical Horizon. Vertical Horizon travels a lot. We do a lot of fly dates. We have gone with the silent stage. It's not my favorite. I personally like having a really nice, powerful 50 or 100 watt something blowing at me from behind, but it works. And it works because of a lot of reasons. For example, last weekend or the weekend before, I can't remember, we played with Creed and Fuel and Sevendust and some other bands, and Mammoth. Oh my God, Wolfie Van Halen, crushing it. Oh, God, I was standing there in complete awe. Anyway, that's besides the point. And he had a cool little pedal board too, so on stacks of EVH heads, and it was glorious. But anyway, I digress. I love a great amp, and I have wonderful amps. Now, I've been collecting amps my whole life. I've got a great collection you've seen in other videos. So this gig, it doesn't work for that, because like at this thing we did last week, it was a multi-band bill, and in our slot, we were in one of the middle to late slots, and we had 15 minutes. It was a 15-minute throw and go, and we were expected to be out there, patched, ready to go, rolling the drum riser in, pedal boards down, mics up, ready to roll in 15 minutes. It was very difficult, and we've done that before. We do that a lot. We're a festival band as well as a ticketed band that plays different gigs. So sometimes we get a long sound check that's all afternoon. You know, we take our time, do whatever. And sometimes, man, it's no sound check, 15 minutes, make it work. And we made the switch to the silent stage. I personally chose the Quad Cortex as my platform for that. I think I've talked about that before. And honestly, it's just been a spectacular box. So it's hard for me to diss the silent stage when it works so well for us in the type of venues that we're playing. Not for everybody, I'm going to say that. But man, I tell you, walk out in front of a Vertical Horizon gig, and it's going to sound really good. And so the board for that, the main heart of that board is this board here. As you can see, it has the Quad Cortex, an expression pedal that drives the timeline. I like the little TC tuners, and another Strymon piece, the Cloudburst. I have both of these in the loop, and I have all the patches that I need right there. It is powered by, I'll turn it over so you can see it, the Gig Rig Gen X 14. This is the power distribution side of the Gen X 14. This is the power cell that delivers the actual power to this, and this divides it up and sends it out in different voltages. It's a genius piece. It's built like a tank, and this will probably drive 100 units. So if you had a really big pedal board, it will drive it. And this drives my regular 9-volt units. It drives my Strymon pedals. It will drive some other things, and you can link them to where it also will power the Quad Cortex. So the Gen X 14, I actually just ordered another one today because I'm about to do another pedal board build, which I'm going to explain. So this is my main touring board, and I roll it around in a case, and I have it broken up. And I do this a lot. I break one pedal board up into two pedal boards for fly gigs and other situations like that. So I'll usually have that pedal board, and then to the right side, I'll have a volume pedal, a wah, and a pedal that is an on-off, basically acts as an on-off for my piezo. I have two PRSs, actually three PRSs that drive piezo, and I use that in the gig quite a bit. So that is what I'm currently touring, and that goes in a nice little suitcase. Now, what I was touring before that, when we were actually using amps in Vertical Horizon, and this board here is actually the heart of my recording rig. So you'll hear my dog in the background. She's kind of a beast. So this pedal board is a Vertex board, I think. It's one of the little Vertex dual boards. And this is my main board. I had just pulled this gig rig off, so the Velcro is not attached as much as I want it to for me to pick it up. But come on, there we go, Velcro. All right, so this is my main pedal board at home. This drives my recording rig, and obviously you can see here I have the G3 Atom by the gig rig as well. The Big Sky. My favorite delay of all time is the Diamond Memory Lane analog delay. I love this Wind Through the Trees Paul Reed Smith flanger. It's such a beast. And as I've said over and over and over again, I'm a early adopter of the Klon, so I love a Klon. Now underneath this, and you can't really see it, you'll see over here, you'll see a little Phase 90. Now that's not a reissue. That's from a 74, 75. So that's a 74, and that's a Bud box. So for all you super Phase 90 geeks, that is the MXR Phase 90 from 74, 75. I can't remember. And then again, early adopter of the King of Tone. So my drive stack is the Klon King of Tone. And I want to show you the back view of this board, because Gig Rig makes a thing called the generator. And the generator is right here, and it powers all of this. And this is a remote loopy 2, which allows me to put this and this into the loop of my amps. So the remote loopy 2 I use to drive the effects loops in my Marshalls. And the Cinco Cinco is an input-output box. It's a 5-way input-output box that Gig Rig designs as well. Absolutely love that piece. So this is the heart of my, if I were to use an amp, like if I get a call tomorrow and I got to go out on a gig that needs an amp, I'm going to take that and I'm going to split. It's small because I can split this in half. I can bring in the other half of the pedal board, which would be a volume pedal, a wah, and the piezo thing. So in either setup, I've got it set up to where if I'm using amps on a gig, boom, I'm ready to go. If I'm using the quad on a gig, I'm ready to go. Now, at home, when I'm recording, I need a lot of sounds. So I use this as the heart of the rig, obviously, because it's got the Klon, it's got the Diamond, the Big Sky, but I also like a Timeline. I love an old Rat. I love other things. So what I did was I took my old Gig Rig G2, which was the previous generation Gig Rig, and I put it in this board here with some just effects that I can add in. So what I do is I take this board, I put it into a loop of the Gig Rig Atom, G3 Atom, and then I have an extension board. So all of this becomes my recording board. And these boxes, I pull them in and out and change them as I want different sounds. So it's like a great color palette. It works really well. So I'm going to lift that board up for you. It's kind of heavy. Again, over here, powered by the Gig Rig generator. Again, super clean power. Now you'll notice a bunch of little tiny Gig Rig boxes here. Now what this is whereas the Gen X14 has built into it different voltage changers for the different effects. Like this needs an even flow. This has different power requirements than this. This has different power requirements than this. This has a different power requirement than this. Well, Gig Rig makes a little up changing box, up power box for each each type of effect that you need. You just go into a chart, you purchase what they've got, and then these little distributors will take the power from the generator and run that power to each individual box that you need. All right, so this is the G2. I think I got this in 2012 or 2011. I can't remember when they first came out. And man, let me tell you, I'm still using it. I mean, the G3 is out. It does more things than this. It's got better MIDI capabilities. But I just can't let go of this. It's just too good. So this is my external board for recording. Now, what I'm about to do is I am about to do a tour where I need to not split my rig. I need to not split the I need to not split the quad cortex and this portable. I need to be able to take something like this, walk out on, and have the crew guy walk out on stage, drop it, plug in some XLRs, and go, right? Because we're on a multi-band bill with Five for Fighting, and then we're on another multi-band bill with Toad the Wet Sprocket. So this changeovers are very quick, and I want less plugging in and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this, and I'm going to put it in here, which means I have to rip all of this out. I'm going to resand the board, repaint it, rewire everything to make it work with the quad cortex and the Gen X14. Like I said, I just ordered a new Gen X14 today. You'll hear me talk a lot about Gig Rig. I was an early adopter. I started using them in 2004 or 5. They've been at it for 20 plus years. It's 2004 maybe. Anyway, long time ago on a planet far, far away. 2005. I think it was 2005. So I love Gig Rig stuff. And even though I'm using the quad cortex and I don't need the switching system at this point, I use Gig Rig Power for everything because it's super clean, and it just has never failed me in hundreds and hundreds of shows. So this at home is my recording extension board, again with a Synco. It goes into one of the loops of this little board, and I have a really nice array and palette of sounds to record with. I run it out into 2 different cabinets. I've got a cabinet right over here in this second room. This is actually my tracking room. So I have a 4x12 and a 1x12 in here. And I also have a 4x12 out in the shed in a very, very thick ISO box a la Tim Pierce kind of thing. If you've ever seen the Tim Pierce videos, and that Marshall 4x12 is mic'd with a Sennheiser 421 and a 57. That's my miking scheme that I use for everything. All right, so now I have other pedal boards that I use for different things. I have some amps that don't have effects loops in them. And sometimes I just want a simple gain box stack here, and some delays and a flange and another delay. And so the El Cap by Strymon, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm trying to see what that is. Oh, the Echo, EKKO. That is fantastic. And I love the horse meat. I know I've talked about the horse meat before, but I really like the Klon horse meat stack. So I'll put this on for the rhythm chunk, and then I'll take the horse meat and kick it in over the top and for solos. And it's just really nice. And especially through these effects here. So this is a really easy board to throw in front of a combo. And if I have to do a local gig, or a gig that I can't take a bigger pedal board, man, this is a great little board. Again, it's a second Klon. And the reason being, like I said, I was an early adopter. I bought these things when Bill was selling them for $300 out of his garage. All right. Now, there's another board here that I've never talked about that I want to bring out. So for years and years and years and years, in between touring, when the touring ends, man, the money stops. You're not getting salaries anymore. I've put out 8 records, and you'll get a small advance to do the records, and usually the advance covers the musicians, it covers some studio, the mix, and there's not a lot left over. So the way you make money is by doing live gigs. So probably in 1991, when the band I was in an 80s band called Auto Drive from 1980 to 1991. And we were trying to get the big record deal and all that kind of stuff. So we did hundreds and hundreds of shows, and we got into the big southern bar circuit, and we're touring anywhere from Key West all the way into the Carolinas, playing 6-7 nights a week. And in that time period, I learned to use pedal boards and do all the things. But when that ended, I needed to make a living. So what I did was I busted out my acoustic guitar and I built a little PA system and I just started doing solo gigs. And so probably from 91 up until about 2023 when COVID hit, I would do 4 or 5 nights a week in solo gigs to make cash in between tours. And so I would sing and play. And I tell you what, it really helped my guitar chops. And more than anything, it took my singing from okay to okay plus. How about that? Enough to where I can get hired to be a guitarist, singer, and I can warble on a record, So, and if you scroll down the YouTube page, you'll see examples of me doing that. So, but and every now and again I get a call to do a solo gig, and I just did one in Chicago. I did a house concert, and so I flew up my little pedal board. So this is my live solo acoustic pedal board. And I put a little mixer on here. I used to have a Bose Tower rig and I got rid of it, but I really liked the mixer that came with it. So I kept the mixer. It's a little digital Bose mixer. And I run that into a tuner and I just got this. This is the J Rocket Airchild. And it is like a little mini Fairchild type style compressor. And it's really beautiful. So I use this for solos on the acoustic guitar. The delay I use for that gig is the MXR carbon copy, which I love. I love this delay, and actually I should probably get another one. As far as looping goes, man, I'm old school. I've tried a bunch of the new loopers, and I just stick with this old Boss looper. I think I got this in like 2005 or 2006, and it still sounds great. This Fishman dual parametric DI, a friend of mine named Smokey T turned me on to this. This was probably made in the late 80s, early 90s. And man, it's just a parametric EQ DI. So it acts as a DI for my acoustic, but it also really helps me sculpt a couple of frequencies out in any room, in any PA. And so I keep this as my acoustic board. So when I do an acoustic gig, I can plug right out of this into 2 powered speakers and go. And of course, you can't really see it, but right in here is you guessed it, a gig rig generator. And the generator drives all of this, and then I have a separate power supply for the mixer. But this is my acoustic board, and it sounds fantastic, and it works really well. All right, so I think that's it. I have a bunch of other pedals around that I swap in and out all the time. This is an evolving thing, and I build my own pedal boards. Not as clean and pretty as Daniel does his pedal boards, and the guys, it's the gig rig, and some of the cats in LA and some of the Nashville guys have beautiful, pretty, pristine boards. I'm more of a function guy. As you can see, I just get in there, I stick the cables in, I route them as best I can. I make sure everything is clean and tight. We'll get more into what I use for Velcro and stuff like that. I use dual lock only. And I just make sure that the pedal board is going to function and not move around while the freight companies and the airlines try and crush them. But that's it. So my next build is, like I said, I'm going to take this board, I'm going to pull all of this out, I'm going to put all of this, another set of pedals like this. I'm actually not going to disturb that. I'm going to put a dual set of a matching set of pedals like this into this case, so that when I go out on stage in front of Five for Fighting or Toad the Wet Sprocket, it's literally you drop the board, the power cable comes out, 3 XLRs go in, my guitar cables will already be in this. I'll pull them out and be ready to go. So you can get it on and off stage within a minute or two, and that's the case. And also, it rides on a bus very well. It's very protected. It's a real solid case I had built at Olympic cases years ago. So anyway, I hope that helps some people get some ideas for their own pedal boards. Email me with questions. Leave comments, whatever, and I'll do the best I can to answer them. Going to be out with Toad and Five for Fighting this summer. Look for us. Look for Vertical Horizon. Go to the websites of any of those bands. Come see a gig. And if you do, send me a message and let me know you're there. And if I can escape the the clutches of the backstage area, I'd love to come out and say hi. So anyway, John Wesley, the Journeyman Guitarist, signing off. Until next week. Thank you.